For the break, we told you about all the kids who are being shot in Chicago, and today, 3 police officers were shot. They were attempting to arrest someone for a carjacking. It's total mayhem in Chicago. The microscope is on Chicago in part because of all the protests, but they've had problems there for years. We go now to Charles Love, one of the most thoughtful people in America on criminal justice issues and issues of race, quite frankly. Contributing writer, Manhattan Institute's City Journal, author of We Want Equality, How the Fight for Equality Gave Way to Preference. You can also find him on the radio. He's the host of the Liberty Hour on the Chicago-Salem station. It airs on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Podcasts, etc. Charles, welcome to Newsmax. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Terrific. But this is dismaying, the continued chaos in Chicago. But we've been hearing this story for a long time. Just give me a sense. Are Chicago citizens fed up? Are they demanding change?
They are. Not enough of them, and not enough of them get volume because it's an election year and people want to focus on the politics of it. It's funny you start with that question because I was thinking about, I assume you remember the mass shooting at the funeral home last week. And the next day, a group of neighborhood activists came out and surprisingly said some things that you don't normally hear. And they got a little media coverage, but not the kind they should have. They, not politically aligned to any party, came out and said, this is enough. Something needs to be done. They said demanding that we defund the police is silly and it doesn't help our community. And they welcomed Trump's help if he was going to come in and help. All of them black, 25 of them. You can Google it. It was in Chicago Sun-Times, Brian Mullins and Natasha Dunn. It was 25 of them. Some of them I know personally. They care about solutions, which is what's important, and nobody wants to give them a voice, but they're out there.
So I've got an idea that I'd like to run by you. You mentioned those people, and I'm sure they have stature in their community, but nobody, quite frankly, of national fame or import. Today, I was thinking about Barack Obama, who has been making a lot of money. His latest venture is a podcast with his wife. I think we have a picture. I mean, they are ensconced in the coziest, wealthiest place. It looks like, I don't know where it is, but I know they have multiple homes. What do you think of Barack Obama going into Chicago and brokering a peace with some of these gangs? I know he's not going to do it because he'd have to stick his neck out and there's no guarantee of success. But I kind of find his antics, his money-making antics, a little bit insulting right now, considering that he owes a lot to Chicago. That's where he made his name politically. What do you think?
Well, he definitely owes a lot to Chicago. I think it would probably have a little bit of impact. I mean, this thing is so complicated and so layered, you have to try multiple things. So it may have some impact. To be honest, though, after 8 years of his presidency, conservatives obviously had lots of problems with him, and black people kind of gave him a pass for a while and just a wait-and-see mode. We were happy about the fact that there was a black president. They said, okay, let's see what happens, give him the benefit of the doubt. But after 8 years and seeing what happens, he doesn't have the credibility in the community that you would think he has, especially not with people who they haven't seen solutions and they want solutions and they just keep seeing the same thing. And even though he's not there, a lot of the politicians have been ensconced and they're associated with him. So they would kind of look at him coming there as an outsider who's not really an outsider. So I don't know if he's the solution, but it is interesting, obviously, what you mentioned from a national standpoint. I look at it like not necessarily just the Obamas, but all of the social justice warriors, all the people who claim that racism is the #1 problem. And they amass lots of money and lots of attention, and they don't use it for solutions. And that's the thing. That's the key, right? Yeah. So if we say the neighborhoods need things, why aren't they focusing on what those needs are, as opposed to just the blanket overarching it's race, which really is convoluted and means nothing.
So, Charles, you had a piece, the Manhattan Institute went viral. The New York Post picked it up, and it was interesting. I think you made the point that a lot of white liberals have this total misperception of what the black community is and what it isn't. And a lot of folks on the left seem to have this idea of the black community that they got, I don't know, watching TV shows, crime shows from the 70s. They don't seem to
Right.
be aware that there are conservatives in the black community, people of faith, and there's a middle class. They seem to think
Right.
that all black people are in public housing and one step away from jail. And I just thought it was a brilliant piece. People can look it up. Can you tell us a little bit about the reaction to it and maybe expand on it if you like?
Well, the reaction was tremendous. One of the best things I would say about it, all the reaction I've had, celebrities and tweeting about it. Rush Limbaugh read it on the air. But the most impressive thing were my friends, close friends and family who aren't conservatives, texting me saying, I found myself nodding in agreement to every word you said, even though I don't necessarily agree with you politically. Because it wasn't really a political piece. I try to write, because there's enough people out there. I'm a conservative, but I write about what's happening and solutions and how you get to the ends of these things. And I don't necessarily need to mention those things to get to the point. You talk about that article that went viral. Hopefully the same will happen tomorrow with my article in City Journal about no one really wants to defund the police. Because let me tell you, I hear the noise just like everyone else. I'm 49 years old. I don't know a black person that wants to defund the police. Don't know one. Nobody in my circle, nobody I talk to regularly, Democrat, independent, left-leaning, it doesn't matter. But it's out there. So those same people you're talking about from that article, the white liberals, think that's what all black people believe. And it simply is not. Even the ones who want reform aren't silly enough to say, remove all the police and we'll be better off.
The white media is very, very selective about which blacks they allow to come on television or that they quote in the newspaper. It's very interesting how they do that. I've been saying that America has been having a very silly conversation about race to avoid a very important and serious conversation about race. And I hope I wonder if you agree with that. And whether you do or you don't, I think you can lead the serious and important conversation or be one of the leaders. Charles, we got 30 seconds left. What do you think of what I just said?
It is, because it's not actually a conversation about race. It's conversation about race from people who aren't really invested in solutions. So it's just sound bites and cool things like help my company, raise my profile, say something black. But it's not true to what we really need. That's why I'm also the assistant executive director of Seeking Educational Excellence. And you can go to that website, seekingeducationalexcellence.org. And we talk about solutions. We try to say, what's the problem? What's causing the problem? Attack that. And it's not white people. It's not the police. It's not Barack Obama, and it's not Trump. All these problems, whatever you may think about them, were in our community before them, and it will be continually if we don't do anything to solve it.
Charles Love, we thank you very much. To be continued for sure here on Newsmax. Check out the Liberty Hour on Salem Radio. You can get it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, etc. Thank you very much, Charles. Good to see you.
Great to be here. Hope to be back.
You bet indeed. All right, folks.